just, when you hear these people like, eat the cake. Maybe if you're 400 pounds, you don't eat the fucking cake. Maybe if you're 250 pounds, maybe if you're 200 pounds as a woman, you don't eat the fucking cake. Because you have a number at the beginning of your weight that no woman, unless they're extremely, extremely tall, should have. You guys do not have the bone structure. You do not have the hormones to justify 200 plus pounds, unless you're extremely tall. And I'm talking like 6'9", 6'10" tall. You guys just don't have the bone frame to hang that much meat on. It's not mean. It's not mean. There is, and this is why other lines can't be blurred either. I hope everybody understands that, because there is a difference between males and females in bone density, bone structure, structural biomechanics. Like our hip sockets are formed very differently. In that that males, the neck of the femur that connects to the ball that goes into your hip socket, that neck is at an angle that is, I believe, 17% different than females, because it's for childbearing, but it's also, that's why women athletes tend to get ACL injuries easier than men. Like, we are not biologically the same, and trying to pretend that we are has also blurred a bunch of these lines about health, and that's a problem. But I digress. The self-harm too, and it's being repackaged as an environment. We're telling people it's okay to hurt themselves as long as they feel good about it. That's not progress. That's a betrayal of what health should mean. And it's really disgusting that we do that in society. I'm just saying, it's disgusting that Anna does it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Let's talk about the real cost of normalization. Chronic illness. Obesity isn't just a standalone issue. It's a gateway to cascade of health problems. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which hasn't controlled or prevented any diseases since its inception, obesity increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by up to 7 times in those with those of a healthy weight. It doubles the risk of cardiovascular disease, heart disease, the leading cause of death in the United States. It's also linked to 13 types of cancer, including breast, colon, and endometrial cancer, as reported by the National Cancer Institute. And that's just the start. Obesity contributes to hypertension, stroke, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, and even mental health disorders like depression and anxiety. Here's the kicker. 90% of all healthcare expenditures in the United States are tied to chronic illness, and the vast majority of those are driven by poor lifestyle choices. The American Diabetes Association estimates that 1 out of every $3 in healthcare spending goes towards diabetes. 1 in every $3 of our healthcare spending goes towards diabetes in some way, when in fact, diabetes is completely avoidable, mitigatable, or reversible in 95% of the cases by lifestyle. But yet 33% of $4.5 trillion. So in other words, $1.5 trillion in healthcare burden is just for diabetes. Think about that shit. $1.5 trillion per year. That's crazy shit. That's amazing to me. That's a disease with where obesity is the prime risk factor in 85% of the cases. The way forward: reclaiming health, reject normalization. It's time to stop pretending obesity isn't a lifestyle to be. It's time to stop pretending obesity isn't a lifestyle to be celebrated. It's a health crisis to be addressed. We need to reclaim the definition of health as something rooted in science, not sentiment. We need to call self-harm what it is, whether it's by a razor blade or a lifetime of overconsumption. And we need to stop burdening society with the consequences of a problem we're too afraid to confront. This isn't about judgment. It's about truth. It's about recognizing that 90% of our healthcare spending is tied to lifestyle choices we can change, and that obesity is the biggest driver of that cost. It's about understanding that chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, and cancers aren't inevitable. They are often a result of a culture that lost its way. We can do better. We have to do better for ourselves, for our families, and for our future. Let's stop normalizing obesity and start normalizing health.